You know, last week on Sportswire Radio, you saw the formations of the newest group and maybe the most potent group we've seen in wrestling history. Forget about what they talked about at Bash at the Beach. Forget about D-Generation X, Evolution. You are now witnessing a Blacklist. And these men will talk about some of their opponents. They'll also respond to an individual that was on here last week and certainly didn't have it in maybe the same opinions as these men have about themselves. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about some different places that you'll see them and let these men talk as a group for the first time here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. And I know it's a busy evening for these men because they've got promos, results, a number of different things to talk about. And I'm not even going to go into the intro. I'm going to let these men speak. And you are witnessing history here, ladies and gentlemen. We spoke about it last Sunday, and then we spoke about it earlier. Now we get that chance to hear from the Blacklist themselves, the Don of Combat, AJ Harrison, the man that put this plan together for months. Dario Divine, the lover boy, who famously took his talents to not only South Beach, but to the Blacklist, and the man right now that sits on top of the throne in TPW and in backyard wrestling. Comatose himself, the king of the West. Fellas, thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on forming this group, and looking forward to spending the next hour or so with you guys and maybe addressing some names and addressing a man that was on here last Sunday who, again, did not seem to be impressed at all, and maybe he didn't get the memo. I have no idea, but fellas, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure, Tom. It is a pleasure.
Absolutely. It's great to see you guys, and obviously maybe we'll go into it because I just announced you guys a few minutes ago, and in this chair that all three of yous are sitting in right now was this guy, Devin Adams. Devin Adams, a promo wrestling legend and a guy that's done it all, and he's certainly done things in the backyard circuit, the underground circuit. He's dabbled a little bit in the independent wrestling circuit, and he certainly didn't get the memo of what you guys have talked about, and I guess I'll just let any of you start it out for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you fellas most certainly helped build Sportswire Radio. What is your responses to last Sunday's guest, one Devin Adams?
Tom, I'm intrigued by that word legend that you used around Devin Adams' name, because something about that had to kind of gave me the ick. I'm not gonna lie. The good thing about a legend is a legend stays a legend because they know when to hang it up. They see the averages declining. You have a guy that gets they just don't have it anymore, and they'll hang it up. But then you have a guy like Devin Adams, and you're gonna throw the word legend around. He doesn't know when to call it quits because this should have been far too long ago.
Well, it's funny you said that because last year, and it was just about 6 months ago, and Devin Adams said he was going to hang it up. He was done, and then he decided to change of plans, and he's been very successful of late. But then he also kind of let it slip in that eventually you won't see him on Instagram anymore promoing, and he also brought up that name, Dario, that you had a lot to say a few days earlier here on Sportswire Radio about, and what Jerry Maine, and he talked about reasons why Jerry Maine isn't promoing anymore, and I guess maybe if Devin Adams doesn't watch it after what you said you intend to do to Jerry Maine's career, maybe you should add another name on that list in one Devin Adams.
The funny thing about that is last week he had a lot to say, Devin Adams did. And he famously threw out a challenge to a one Mr. Comatose. And it's so funny that throwing out challenges when somebody isn't there face to face to defend themselves. However, what was not shown on air was I went to Devin Adams I hit him up in the DMs, and I am so proud to announce that in April, I will be traveling to Delaware. WTW, yours truly, will end Devin Adams. I have accepted that challenge. So I will be facing Devin Adams. We are working out a date, but it will be taking place in April. Guaranteed.
Whoa, time out, because I only have one functioning hand these days,
Mhm.
and it's my non-dominant hand. I want to point that out there.
Mhm.
You mind to repeat that again? Because you just said something,
Mhm.
and you said something about Devin Adams in a
Yep.
company that he holds gold in right now, WTW, in a company that if he gets his way, he may very well hold that company's world championship. So you mind if you'd repeat that again for the audience?
I most certainly will, Tom. For those who may have the shit in their ears, I'll repeat it again because although I'm running very low, I'm a nice guy. I'm a very nice guy here. Devin Adams has ran his mouth for the last time, and he's meddled in business that he shouldn't have gotten involved with, as we've seen with Elliott Creed. I have accepted the challenge that Devin Adams has thrown out there. So come April, I will be traveling to Delaware, and I have accepted the challenge. I will step into the ring with the one Devin Adams in WTW, and I will put an end to Devin Adams inside his own company in his own ring.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, they don't call him the Don of Combat for nothing, because AJ Harrison now has said to the world live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and the platform that was just featured in this little website called blabbermouth.net that has 1 million viewers daily. I repeat, 1 million viewers. And not only is that site 1 million viewers daily, that's the site that we sat on for nearly a day as the top story with non-point lead singer Elias Soriano, and that AJ Harrison has announced here on Sportswire Radio. More breaking news in that he's traveling to Delaware to wrestle in WTW against one half of the WTW Tag Team Champions, and maybe by this time next month, when AJ Harrison faces him, the WTW World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, Devin Adams versus AJ Harrison. It is going to happen. Boy, a match that was made here on this platform, and I cannot wait to talk about that one. That is going to be one for the ages. And AJ Harrison has also said he is going to end Devin Adams on his own turf, his own stomping grounds. Boy, that's a reason why you want to go hit that sub button for me for the Dawn of Combat and AJ Harrison. And, we're going to get to your guys' matches coming up. We got Ace Atlas talking about, we got Texas Red, we got Elliott Creed, who seems to be a big topic in everybody's minds of late here. But Comatose, I mean, Devin Adams just had all these different things to say about you. One of the things I thought was so fascinating was that you even said to him half the things he said was actually inaccurate, because you have been in a ring for the past year, and you may have wrestled in a ring more than he actually has in the last year. So I'm sure you'd like a rebuttal.
Oh, yeah. There's so many things that came out of Devin Adams' mouth that clearly just showed he hasn't paid attention to my career, which is fine. Not everybody gets drawn towards the best in all of backyard wrestling, period. And before I go into Devin Adams, I just want to say congratulations to my colleague AJ Harrison for making his backyard wrestling debut and actually doing the thing that I don't believe that Devin Adams was ready for with me. You see, Devin Adams, what you need to know about me, my friend, is that this year, 2026, is my 10th year in backyard wrestling. And not only is it my 10th year in backyard wrestling, I'm about to go back in less than 2 weeks to BTW to record a season's worth of matches in a ring, my friend. You know, it's not just a one-off with me, you see. I want to make this my career. It is my mission to become the best of all time. And you know, that type of tenacity, it doesn't come with everyone. Not everybody has the passion to be able to do what I am doing. Sure, you've traveled to all these little companies. You swore that you would never, ever wrestle on a trampoline, but then in the same breath say that you look up to guys like Jack Delta, who wrestled most of his career on a trampoline, and you're good friends with he who shall not be named, I'm going to say his name, Aaron Blaze, who still to this day wrestles on a goddamn trampoline. It's just hilarious to me, the hypocrisy that comes out of your mouth. And as a matter of fact, even if me and you were to step in a ring, it would be the results would just be much the same as they are anytime I face you in a promo battle. I would win. As a matter of fact, I just beat you in IGPW for the Hellstarter Championship right after you were talking all that shit on this platform. You see, you spew out of your mouth and you can't even back it up. And that's your problem, Devin Adams. You like to come on here acting like you're Big Debo, like you're going to steal someone's bicycle. Guess what? I still got my bicycle. I still got all my shit that's on my front lawn. You don't have the guts or the gall to steal from a man that has had everything taken from him and has had to earn it all back.
Absolutely. And I do want to give a plug to BTW because obviously we've done a lot of work with them in the past. And if you want to check out some of their content where Comatose over the last year has wrestled a lot in the ring, I did want to point out that you might have actually wrestled more matches in the ring this past year than Devin Adams has. And that's
your entire career.
I wouldn't be able to maybe comment on that, but what I can comment on is if you'd like to hit the sub button for BTW, I would encourage you to do so, and please support them. You'll see them back on, I'm sure, sometime in the next month or so. But okay, enough about Devin Adams. You guys are very busy men. Let's talk about some different things that are ahead here. And I'm going to go first with you, Dario Divine, because there's this guy out there. You know, we talked a little bit about it last week when you were on here and you announced to the world. And I could see, I think you know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to let you have at it to start and bring him up. And for you to change your fortunes, talk to me and give me some thoughts on one Ace Atlas.
Well, you know, Tom, I think this is your show, and I'm not gonna try to backseat host here, but I think the topic of conversation is really supposed to be Eli Bowman. Ace Atlas is hiding in the shadows and hasn't even come out. You know, I sent a message his way. I sent a hype promo out there. I haven't heard from him. He hasn't shown up. He doesn't understand that this match wasn't just for me to get into that title. This is my current destiny. This is the path I'm on, and this is where I'm meant to be. Eli Bowman has had a great run with that Change of Fortune Championship. And great is a fantastic word to hear when you follow up the reign of Comatose, a man that was the first successful person to cash in that Change of Fortune Championship. Not only successfully, but just to ever even cash it in. Nobody in the company's history could hold on to that title for 4 title defenses until he held it. And now Eli Bowman coming up to title defense number 4. Ace Atlas just steps out of my way. That's going to be his biggest mistake because now I'm in his way again for another week. I don't think he understands that. If he does decide to no show, maybe Rocky suspends him for it. Who knows? Maybe it goes down to a one-on-one. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is this was the worst mistake he could have possibly made because now that I have another opportunity at that title, I'm not going to let it slip.
You know, we talked a little bit about that before you eventually made the decision to join these men. And you talked about Comatose and what he did there and what it led him to. And we know your last 6 or so months, this is a big moment for you. And you've got the Blacklist right here. You've seen what these men have done in putting this group together. And that's why, listen, you need to shine the brightest here of these men. And Ace Atlas, almost nowhere to be found. That's why I brought him up specifically, and I mean that's certainly got to really make you upset.
I mean, again, it's just going to be to his own detriment. I mean, for a man to talk so much shit and just
And he
run his
talked a lot
mouth for
about Rocky,
so
by the
long.
way, in the past. He said a lot about Rocky and some of those things there, but yet here he is, right? And before a huge opportunity, a huge moment. I mean, who knows what's going through his mind at the moment?
I think what's going to be going through his mind is, what the hell am I getting into, once he realizes it's a triple threat match. Because again, the fact that he just thinks he can no-show this and then still have an easy time. I mean, he couldn't get past Eli Bowman the first time. And like you said, he complains about Rocky all he wants, but Rocky somehow decided to give him another chance at that title. And that's when I had to put my foot down and say, I'm a guy that just went to war with Eli Bowman, and neither of us could come out the victor. We went to a time limit draw. We went to a double count out. And because of that, what did I get from it? Absolutely nothing. And now Ace Atlas waltz in here, gets a shot at the Change of Fortune Championship, lets it slip through his hands, and Rocky says, "You know what? Let's run it back." For what? We saw the outcome. We saw what happened. But you know what happened when you put Eli Bowman and I together? Magic. We created a moment that, again, can't be recreated until this pay-per-view.
And
This
listen,
is
and
when I
Eli,
get to
we
stand
know
across
what
from
he's
him.
felt about you joining this group. He was very vocal and adamant about his disappointment in this. So he's got a lot on the line. And Ace Atlas, who knows? Maybe I don't know if he's pulling a rope a dope here, a la Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, but I don't know if that's going to work here in this outcome because of just how personal it's been between Bowman and yourself, but really more Bowman, because Bowman was blindsided and really disappointed, maybe more than anybody else, about you specifically, Dario, joining these men.
Again, for a man that says he wants to be in Hollywood, this is a business. This is show business. And again, also for a man that says he knows me so well, clearly he doesn't. Because I'm all about the opportunity. I'm all about the moment. And this was the moment. I created it.
Well, you did. Obviously, the clip speaks for itself. It's been all up on social media. It's on my other Instagram account, which you can check at the PWF Network, and obviously here as well on Instagram. And there's no question that this is a moment for you to get back on top. And like I said, we've seen what Comatose did as the Change of Fortune champion. You could very well do the same thing and join these two men. That's why it's very important for you in this outcome. And I don't know the thinking. That's why I opened up with Ace Atlas. I didn't open up with Eli Bowman because I saw you and Bowman, and I saw Bowman here in the chat. When you were here last Friday, you made that announcement that you were joining these men and the plans and everything else. I got that. But it's Ace Atlas that, and again, we know his history. We know he's been vocal about his displeasure at times with Rocky. And yet here we are, right? Before a big opportunity, not just for you, but for him as well. And just, I don't know. I mean, listen, who knows, right? Who knows what the future brings? But I want to go, I'll go to Comatose last because he's obviously the champ. He's the incumbent, and I'm sure he'll talk about a few things. He put a bunch of promos out, which we'll get into in a minute. But I'm going to you, the Don of Combat. I am going to you because Elliot Creed is an interesting guy because back to back, I seen him battle you. And then obviously in TPW, he's got this guy that you probably know a thing or two of with that freak math. And he was going on and he said a few things, but I'm giving you the opportunity, AJ Harrison, to talk about Elliot Creed because he has been vocal just in the same way Ace Atlas was vocal about Rocky and TPW. It seems Elliot Creed has been just as vocal about you, sir, in his luck in EPW.
See, Tom, now you hit the nail on the head right there. There is a common factor between three individuals: Ace Atlas, Elliot Creed, and Eli Bowman. You got Ace Atlas, a man who has stayed silent. You got Elliot Creed, who speaks up and has gotten involved where he shouldn't have. Now, common theme right there is two individuals who speak of management as if they are garbage. And what happens? What happens? They get their opportunities and they squander them. Ace Atlas literally gone missing. What happened to him? He's nowhere to be seen. Elliot Creed had a decision. We were nice to him. We gave him the opportunity to walk away. And he chose not to. So because of that, he called me out, asking me, where are you? So I'm very thankful that you came to me after talking about where's Ace Atlas, because Elliot Creed kind of pulled that same thing. Where you at, AJ? In his first type, where you at, AJ? Where you been? Where you been, buddy? Well, I answered that question. We, not I, we have been at your house. So we had a great time. Leftovers again, Mrs. Creed.
I did see that. I did see you talked about the family there.
Yes,
you did
absolutely fantastic cook. It was delicious meal. Absolutely great. Besides all that, though, Elliot Creed, you should have taken the advice of the Blacklist. And now, because you have gotten yourself in too deep, if you think what came out last night was bad, just wait, because that's only child's play compared to what I have in store for you this week. I'm not even done yet. Do you think a pay to your child's crib is all that I have in store for you? Oh no, buddy. Trust me, it's about to get a lot darker before you are completely wiped off the map for good.
But what's your thoughts about some of the things he said in the past? He talked about his start in EPW, where he was 4-0. He talked about that. And then on top of that, he also brought up the numbers and that you need associates. And he didn't seem to be, again, similar to an Eli Bowman, none too pleased at all about this. And what was your reactions to some of those things he has said in the past?
You know, Tom, again, Elliot Creed was doing great in EPW, and he could have still been doing great in EPW. His problem was when Elias came to EPW and stuck his nose where it didn't belong. Elliot Creed decided to join him in the invitation, something I destroyed back in All Pro 5 in TPW. And that is why Elliot Creed has been targeted, guilty by association, and because he did not take the advice that was given to him by the Blacklist, he has been targeted. We are not at fault anymore for this. He made his choice, and now he must lie with his own decisions.
You know, it's funny you said the word liable, and you guys are not liable to the damage, of the likes of Elliot Creed, the likes of Ace Atlas, if he's around, Eli Bowman, and you, Comatose. You know, I wanted to go to you last because I remember when Dario first came on here, and he was the man in TPW, and then all of a sudden he had a match with Texas Red. And I ask you now your thoughts going back to that, the irony of where that was. What was it, 4 months ago, Dario? The first time you came on around, give or take 3 or 4 months ago?
3-4 months.
3-4 months ago, right? It was a different world. Maybe you guys were still planning this. Who knows, right? But you now are technically in the same shoes of when Dario Divine Comatose, and talk to me now about Texra. Maybe you'll send him packing, maybe where he can go out and walk out some wrestlers to the ring and maybe do a strut. And I mean, you know a lot about being in that ring, and he's just learning to do it, but you've actually competed. And I got to now give you the opportunity to talk further about some of the things you've recently literally just put out toward that guy, Texas Red.
Comatose, I don't mean to cut you off, But let me start by saying this: he's got an even match this week. He doesn't have a Jerry Mayne in a referee outfit to screw him over and say, "Oh, my hand got a little shaky," when damn well he knew what he was doing. He had a chance to give me the easiest 1, 2, 3 if he actually wanted to, even if he didn't want to be the shady referee. He could have. He now says my hand shaky when he gives Rocky the win. He could have used the same excuse if I got the win. And for Jerry Mayne to go out there and say, well, I haven't been doing this for a while and that was my first thing back, just shut up. That was the first sign of I didn't need him anymore. That was the first sign of he didn't need us. And the fact that he just tried to stay so relevant, he had to attach himself to a match of mine. And again, when we were on the same team, he could have given us the easy result. We all could have understood it, but he didn't. I mean, that's where the difference is between this. But Comatose, I'll let you go ahead. I'm sorry.
You actually hit the head right on the nail, actually. And the thing is, the reason that the Enterprise even had to end to begin with is because the writing was in the stars, correct? You see, it started with that match, and as soon as I saw that match happen, I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew exactly that Jerry Mayne was eventually going to end this Enterprise for himself. And I couldn't allow that to happen. I couldn't allow myself to go down with the ship. But that is neither here nor there. The Enterprise is over, and now Texas Red has a blacklist to deal with. And you see, I took some of those funds from the Enterprise because, boy oh boy, while the Enterprise was shady, it was very, very lucrative. It was very, very successful. And I used those same funds for my own benefit. And I actually did something that no one has ever done against Texas Red. You see, I always knew there was something a little fishy going on with Texas Red's career. Why is it that Texas Red can't challenge for the TPW Championship? Why is it that Texas Red can't challenge for the TPW World Heavyweight Championship? Well, I did a little digging myself. Tom, I don't know if you saw the promo. You probably didn't, but here it is.
I just put it up. Yeah, put it up.
It's all in this envelope right here, and that says what? DNA test results. And let me explain exactly what that means. My guys came back to me with positive results, and the DNA that was attached to those results were CEO Rockies and Texas Reds. Texas Red is related to CEO Rocky. So anytime he gets into a competition with anybody, he already has one foot up because old daddy's up in the front office making sure that every single time that he gets into a ring, he will get that win. 100%. But unfortunately, Texas Red, you met the one guy that has just as much reach as you do. You really thought you were Mr. Fantastic until you ran into the Silver Surfer. And that was your problem, bud. You've ran into a guy that would go to the depths of hell to defeat someone like you, to redeem what happened to my brother, Dario Divine. And now you're going to see come results that you're not as dominant as you think you are. And that win that you got against my brother was a fluke.
So it sounds to me that this is personal. This is personal. This is about settling a score. And that's why you were able to. And again, that's pretty shocking. Yes, I did see some of the promo before we came on here. And you mean to tell me, based on your sources, your inside information, as my colleague who I do a different show with on a different channel would always say, inside sources, your inside sources say that Texas Red and Rocky are of the same? And are you alleging nepotism?
I am alleging nepotism. Exactly. Texas Red is just one big ol' outdoors nepo baby. And who knows, CEO Rocky might have a bunch of kids out there. I mean, shit, my father got around. What's to say that his father didn't get around, you know? There is clear, without a shadow of a doubt, evidence that this man has been handed everything that he has ever gotten. And the irony is that he wants to say that that happened with me, that I was the one that sold out. If I had a goddamn dollar for every time someone said that I sold out, man, Tom, me and you would be going to one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants right now having a 5-course meal because I'd be a goddamn millionaire. It's hilarious to me. And the tables have turned. Texas Red, you want to portray yourself as some homeless bum that lives out in the wilderness, who sleeps with the animals and lives in tents and goes on 5-mile 5Ks and does all this stuff for the great benefit of the world. And little did we know, you have daddy's money in your back pocket whenever you need it.
But couldn't you say that some of those things you would relate to, the wilderness, the outside world, your background with the different things that you've done?
But here's the difference. You're right. I spend my time in the wilderness. But the difference is I'm out there hunting my prey. He's out there being prey. And now I have to go out and I have to kill my prey. And Texas Red, that's all you are to me. That's all this match was to me. All this was penmanship, pen game, practice. This was never some first-person shooter like Drake and J. Cole. No. All this was simply a throwaway off my album.
So
you were never a hit.
Well, so you mean to say, because it sounds like what I'm getting at, and again, maybe I'm missing something here, that you walk the walk in the outside world, but Texas Red, in what he has said, he's just talking the talk, but he's not walking the walk.
Oh, he's not walking the walk in any way, shape, or form. It is much, much different because, you see, Texas Red, he has to stay out there. He has to stay out there and he has to live with his surroundings. I got a house I can go to after I'm done killing my prey. I've got a shop that I can go to where I can hang my prey up and then chop it all up. I have places that I can go. I've got shit to do. Texas Red, you might like having your friends, the Fox and the Hound, right beside you, talking in your ears, giving all this advice. It doesn't work with me. It never has worked with me. There's not a single person in that locker room that it would work. Not a single damn person. And that is why there is only one person that has ever beaten me. And that was the person that brought me into promo wrestling. And now, where is he at? Retiring.
I tell you what, that's an interesting point, and I'm getting a sense that out with the old and in with the new, and names like Jerry Maine, Devin Adams, and then there's names like Ace Atlas, nowhere to be found. But there are some names out there, and I want to shout them out before I give you guys something and then ask you something in particular. Zilla's here first. Thank you so much for being here. As usual, a man that was here on Friday's show, it'll probably be here Tuesday, Daniel Tafu, who, by the way, there was somebody that had his name in their mouths, and I think he knows who I'm talking about. That's one Phoebe Harper. Hubie Jenkins is out here in the house. He's probably scouting. Who knows? He wanted to say hello from the EWA, our friends. Thank you, Zilla. Thank you very much. Hit the sub button for the Dawn of Combat's YouTube channel. Hello. Yep, hello. I think Daniel Tafua came in and came out, but he'll be here probably Tuesday night when Harley Langley's here. Speaking of people that know Comatose and will see him in 2 weeks, Steven Storm wanted to say hello, but a man you've been in a ring with, that you've probably been in a ring with a few more times than maybe Devin Adams has been in the last year. I mean, it is a statistical fact. I've been in a ring more than Devin Adams has been in this year, but AJ Harrison will tell us next month on how that goes. Thank you, everybody. Please follow AJ on Instagram. Also, Dario's on Instagram. Follow him. Speaking of people that also want other names out there that have been talked about quite a bit on this platform, Ox McCoy, who now wants Gabe Sayers, and that very well may happen finally. Thank you. You got a sub just now. And speaking of somebody you alleged might be related to somebody in Adina. Now, by the way, I see what you did in the video. You put a Maury Povich episode up, which Maury Povich, which was known, again, he was a big talk show host guy way back in the day. I remember him, the days of Bill Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake, Maury Povich. I mean, Ricky Lake and Maury
Williams.
Montel Williams, those were always, I got to say, Ricky Lake, Montel Williams, a little bit Maury Povich, but Montel and Ricky Lake growing up in Brooklyn, I did in some ways look forward to watching those, on Channel 9 here in New York. And who knew that I would be out doing something like this? But follow Comatose on Instagram. And also, there he is. And also, would you like Draquan on the live stream?
I don't mind at all.
I'll
Yep.
send him the link. Also,
Tim,
yes.
I was say while and I'm glad that yes, Eli, your name was mentioned. For someone who's taking Dario's turn, and I'll address something that I was going to say here in a minute because Bowman, you caught my attention. For someone who's taking Dario's turn so personally, I assure you, bud, you don't want to get personal with the Blacklist. If you have not seen what Elliot Creed is going through, I assure you, if you don't want that to happen to you, and I promise you, it will get much darker for Elliot Creed. It is too late for him. Stop now. Heed our warning. You don't want this to get personal. So the best thing you could do is to apologize, have good sportsmanship with Dario for the rest of your career in TPW or whatever other company you compete with him in, also Comatose or myself, and leave it alone. Allow us to attend to our business and stay out of the Blacklist way.
Now, AJ Harrison, I have a lot of respect for you, but I think Eli Bowman is not going to do a single thing that you just said. I think you kind of know that as well. I would imagine.
Tom, and that's the thing. He's young, and I get it. But, we try. We try to offer because I would like to think, guys, we are nice gentlemen, and we try to extend and teach the younger generation. We try to teach the up-and-comers something that a Devin Adams failed to do, something that Jerry Main failed to do. Instead of protecting ourselves, we are trying to help the younger generation from making mistakes. You see, there have been a lot of inaccuracies thrown around, from why we were formed or what we stand for. We were not formed because we were blacklisted. I haven't been blacklisted from anywhere that I've shown up from. My name could be mentioned anywhere. I have gotten no text, no email, no nothing saying that I've been blacklisted. However, this is simply a group of gentlemen with not only common goals, but inside the ring, outside of the ring, we shared common goals. We have close bonds. We know what we're doing. We are like-minded. And most importantly, Tom, we have the same enemies. And really, that's what it's about. When we formed, we knew what we wanted to do, and that was to take over. This all started day one. Nobody knew. And like Dario had mentioned before, I'm the most impatient guy. My patience level, non-existent. That is why I have these gentlemen, because sometimes, I get a little gung-ho. I get a little excited. Sometimes I need to get brought back a little bit. I have never put myself ahead of these two like Jerry Main did. I have never put myself ahead. Just like these two would never do the same. We consider ourselves as equals. There's not a leader, so to speak. We have our respective chairs or our respective seats around the table.
You guys,
but we are considered
maybe
equals. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I think I got cut off. My Wi-Fi.
Yep, there you go. You're back.
There you go. You're back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My Wi-Fi got cut out. Go ahead.
Oh. I was just saying that we have our respective seats. We sit in our respective chairs, but we also respect our chairs. We respect each other's seats. We don't overstep, and we always consider ourselves as equals. We consider each other equals. And it's because of the mutual respect and the bonds that we have for each other.
Well, it's about to get interesting here shortly, but before I do that, this man is here and he wants to tell you, you won a war, you got one, see you very soon. And who knows, maybe you'll see Elliot Creed one day on here. Maybe he'll share his side of the story.
He deserves it.
Well,
Absolutely.
stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay
Although
tuned.
I can't imagine a war is going to go very far with someone that has a Dallas Cowboys picture as their profile picture.
You know, Tom, and I did want to mention earlier, though, you know, yes, you know, I didn't make this personal. Again, you know, there are people that get involved in business, they meddle, and, you know, again, we are trying to do the right thing. And then people, they get misinformation. They try to help people. They try to help their friends, I guess. And that's really what Elliot Creed is trying to do. He's trying to help Elias, who claims to be his brother. There is fake family, and then there is real family. That right there is a difference. Just say, because there's that nothing lasts forever, right? If the Blacklist were to go our separate ways, just whether it be tomorrow, down the line, whatever, we could go our separate ways peacefully, mutual respect. Everything would be fine. No problems, you know, minor disagreement, whatever. Because we have that bond, we have that respect for each other. Meanwhile, you have Jerry Main, who goes into business for himself. You have Elias in the invitation, always betrayals in there. You have factions all the time betraying each other. Meanwhile, this right here is something that will never be broken. And that regardless whether it's separated, it can always be brought back. Because family may fight, family may have disagreements, but true family always sticks together. And that is what true family is about.
Well, speaking of family, and I do, before I get to that, want to say hello to the legendary Doc Holliday. He did want to say hello. Thank you, Doc. And also, the war on Iran has nothing on Elliot Creed.
Oh my God. Whoa. Holy
Hold on.
Well, I guess who knew that Khomeini and Elliot Creed would have something in common? Who knew?
Can we throw a poll in the chat? Who's dropping bigger bombs?
Oh no, don't do
Before I get to that, we will certainly steer the conversation away from the wars and steer away from foreign and domestic policies, because you are about to be joined by, speaking of family members himself, the king of the smoke, Draquan himself, and thankfully to save us from some foreign policy talk. Draquan, you couldn't have had any better timing tonight on Sportswire, because the last thing I wanted to talk about was the war in Iran, but you are going to certainly, I'm sure, steer away from that. And thank you for joining your brethren here in the Blacklist, because I am going to share my screen in a minute, but thank you, Champ, for being here.
Well, it's good to be back here on this lovely Sportswire, joined by none other than Comatose, Dario, and AJ Harrison. Now,
How you doing?
I get the name. I love the name Blacklist because I'm here to solve some answers, because I hear and I've seen that AJ Storm is gone, Devin Adam is gone, but that leaves Draquan. The question that everyone is asking, are you going to be the next one to leave? Why haven't you left? What's the reason? Why should I follow everyone else? Because it's the hottest trend? No, I'm not here to follow no trend. I'm here to let everyone know that I'm here because TPW has allowed me to, what they say, broaden my horizon. But you have to forgive me on the horizon part because I am in Durag Ron's garage and waiting for his broke ass to wake the fuck up because I just basically dumped a mud hole in it because the hood dropped his location. So I had to revert back to my roots and let him know that I lived that lifestyle, and he found that out the hard way. But
I just want to, you know what? Let me get this out of the way right now. I swear to God, if I have to watch another Durag Ron promo ever again, so help me God. Just no, please, just no.
It's like if a summer sausage and like a pack of pepperoni had a baby, and then they
think
came
you
I
might
out.
need
didn't
another
have that on
DNA
my
test. That's
bingo
what I'll
card,
say.
but now I
whatever it was, I dealt with it, and now he's taking a dirt nap, as you can see.
Thank
But
God.
you said something, Draquan, that is interesting in that it's something that I picked up on about 10 minutes ago is that it seems like it's out with the old, in with the new. Dario has been very adamant and vocal, and he was vocal here about what he wanted to do to Jerry Mayne. AJ Storm, we know about his career, and now that it's over. And then there's Devin Adams, who basically last week on here said that, well, you're not going to see him on Instagram at a certain point very soon. And then AJ Harrison just said he's coming to his own turf to finish the job. And you say that people might be wondering about you, but you're trying to avoid that and avoid this topic, this theme, which seems to be out with the old and in with the new.
I think it's more, Tom. I think it's out with the irrelevant, in with the relevant. Because I think that's why Draquan can stick around. Because, I mean, when you're on top, your name's still being talked about. People still actually care about you. But when you retire and unretire and retire and unretire and jump from company to company and quit, nobody really cares anymore. Nobody cares if Devin Adams comes or goes. AJ Storm's a different story because you want to talk about a legend in the game. That's a man that has my respect. But hey, there's a difference between, like I said earlier, a legend and somebody that doesn't know when to call it quits.
So wait a minute. Did you mean to tell me, and this could be for anybody here, that AJ Storm's a legend? Absolutely. Listen, AJ Storm is a guy
100%.
that in promo wrestling history, no question about it. There's been a lot of guys that have come on here and said about the influence of AJ Storm, but Devin Adams, that name, not considered a legend. Just want to make sure, because I use the term legend for Devin Adams, but you, at least Mr. Divine, I'm not sure about your colleagues here. Devin Adams, not a legend.
Can I speak on behalf of both AJ and Devin Adams? Because I'm gonna be 100% honest. I have basically have my name known here in the Instagram world, but let's just say I've known them in the other side of the world as well. So I've had the chance of knowing them on each side of the pond. So at the end of the day, AJ Storms, yes, bona fide legend, a man that can come consistently and let it be known that he will put a foot in someone's ass and be 100% believable and honest about it. He will tell you straight up to your face. But when it comes to Devin Adams, the consistency is kind of a yin and a yang. It's a hit or a miss. It's a kind of a more of a, hey, I'm here. The next minute is, where are you at? We haven't seen you 11:59. We don't know where you're at. So that's kind of how it is with Devin Adams. You can't necessarily put a legendary statement on someone who can't necessarily be what they say all day, every day. Consistent. Consistent is key. This is why we are the Blacklist day in and day out, because the consistency is always based with this lovely group. So yes, AJ, legend. Devin Adams, whatever. That's kind of the case with him.
Here's what I will say. Now, I may share a little bit of a different opinion, and that's what I love about the Blacklist is we can have differences of opinion, and we don't hold grudges like that amongst each other. I was set to defend my championship against AJ Storm. I never got that opportunity because, again, things happen, and he's walking around with my championship as if he earned it, as if he won it and pinned the rightful champion. But that's another story for another time. Nonetheless, AJ Storm has yet something to prove to me. Now, that's not to discredit what he's done previously. He's beaten Comatose. Kudos to him. However, the match was in his favor. But again, we won't go into all that. I believe there was a little bit of politicking, so to speak. Speaking of though, I want to kind of touch on what was said earlier with the whole CEO Rocky and who was it? Because we're talking about CEO Rocky and his many children. I'm pretty sure that if we did some digging, because the Blacklist has very, very deep pockets.
I see.
Much deeper than anybody can imagine. I'm pretty sure that if we wanted to, I'm pretty sure that Durag Ron, there might be some connections there too, and I wouldn't be surprised if Durag Ron wouldn't be of some type of relation in that same bloodline.
More than likely, but he's probably the toilet baby of the bloodline,
Midnight dumpster baby, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It was more like my wife has to go take a shit, and it wasn't a shit type of deal.
You know what? I didn't have that on my bingo card, but let me ask you guys this question. Because some interesting topics have been thrown in. All of a sudden, randomly wars, people going and doing number twos. But what are the goals of the Blacklist?
Well, completely.
That's it.
1000%.
Because Devin Adams said he's seen this before. Everybody says it, and he wasn't impressed. So when you guys say that, isn't that what Devin Adams said you guys were going to say on here?
Of course. Yeah, of course Devin was going to say that. And you want to know why? Because he's just jealous of the fact that he's never been in a faction that was actually able to do that. He saw what the Enterprise did. We completely took over. And now here is the upgraded version of anything that the Enterprise ever was. And he can't stand the fact that he just can't, for the life of himself, win a championship that puts him at the forefront of the company. See, that's his problem, and that is why he got beaten for the Hellstarter Championship when I went up against him, and that is why in the IGPW Mainstay Championship match, the final Mainstay Championship match, because ladies and gentlemen, IGPW is closing its doors, it's not going to be him in the damn match because he doesn't have the talent to be able to be in that match. As a matter of fact, it's going to be me, my brother Draquan, in DTG in the final Mainstay Championship match of IGPW. And it's clear as day why they wouldn't consider him to do that, because he's a hothead that's full of his own shit and thinks that he's somebody. And then when he thinks that he's somebody, he doesn't even do the research to back up the bullshit that comes out of his mouth. That's probably why he wins any matches, because his breath stinks so fucking bad. I
think when it comes down to Devin Adams, I mean, when you want to throw the term legend around, you just can't use those in the same sentence, because he was in EPW for a little bit, and then things didn't go his way, and then he took his ball and went home. But he's not Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the only thing stunning about Devin Adams is that he can't find another goddamn sweatshirt in his closet.
Hold on, Dario. I gotta ask you, because you brought up a great point. So I gotta ask you, how many seconds is in one? Or I'm sorry, how many? Hold on.
He's trying to find words to say that.
I'll tell you what. Before you do that,
and I think he's holy shit. Devin Adams is starting to do that.
I did want to share my screen, so while you stumbled on here live, and I'm gonna save you here. I'm gonna because that's what I do.
Because damn it, Devin Adams is starting to get to me a bit.
Well,
But,
we've talked a lot about him, understandably so, but you've got some other things to
wow.
focus on, which we'll certainly get to shortly before we sign up, because I know there's some results and other things due. But let me share my screen and certainly save some of these topics for another day, because some of them just, I hope we never talk about, as a matter of fact. But congratulations, fellas.
Oh, thank
Oh
you.
my God. Does that say Hall of Fame?
It does.
Last I checked, I mean, unless I'm missing, do you want to bring your reading glasses out for
I
you?
mean, listen, we might.
You need
Holy
reading
It's a
shit.
glasses?
shame.
Last I
It's a
checked,
Wow.
shame.
I didn't.
I want to 100% say this right here right now. As a man that has been doing this for 6 years, not only doing this for about 2 years on the Instagram side, but a lovely 4 years on the Discord side, I have accomplished a lot of things, and this right here is a 100% honor.
I appreciate that. And you send me your email when we're off the air, and I'll give you the physical copy. And I will definitely do that for all of you men. And I figured I'll just go ahead and do it while I have the opportunity. And
Thank
again,
you.
yesterday I was in the news for my interview with the band Nonpoint, so that's what you had to follow up. So I have no doubt that you'll do that. But yes, that's what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why we waited for you to join. And that is the Blacklist, and they are in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame as a group. And there can't be no other way to quote one individual out there, but here, and that's what you're seeing. And I will give these guys this, but I know you guys are busy men here and you've got some stuff to attend to. So let me give the opportunity for some final words for your opponent. Let me go with you, Draquan, first, because I want to give you the opportunities or anything you want to say here before closing thoughts.
All right. Before we all end this, like I say, I want to make a lot of things clear. Yes, Blacklist, we are here to do one thing and one thing alone, and that is to let everyone know that we are the consistent people or group that is in all of Instagram wrestling. Because no matter where we're at on the card, whether it's the top, the middle, or the bottom, we show up, we show out, and everyone knows who the fuck we are. Because they will remember our names at the end of the day, whether if it's a win, a loss, or a draw, they know who they matched up against. And they're going to want to do it again. They're going to want to have their run backs, but they know they're going to have to change up their game plan each and every time they face us. It's never the same. It's never the same lingo, the same story, the same outcome. It's never that. It's always a bigger, better, and a more improved person when it comes match day. But to clear everything about where am I going as far as AJ Storm and Devin Adams, Draquan is his own person. He does his own things. I have a goal, and that is to not only win 2 more World Heavyweight Championships, one here and one in OPW. Once I do that, then I can solidify myself as one of the greatest to do this promo game, and that is to become a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. Already got 14, which the Mainstay Championship was my 14th world title. So even though it wasn't a big reign or a long reign, it was added to the accolades. So all I need is 2 more. So once I do that, that's when I can quote unquote what they say, call it quits. But will I do that? Fuck no. I'll do this until the day that I what they say, lay down in the dirt completely.
Like
So
you, Rag Ron.
Well,
that's
hopefully,
how it is.
that,
That's
but
my ending
that was
conclusion.
really what I was going to ask. I mean, you have anything you want to say to Durag Ron before tonight's stream ends?
For again, you have to forgive me for being hood on someone who does not fit the description.
Drop the low.
He won't be attending anything anytime soon.
I got it. I got the
Because
connection.
yeah,
I am from
yeah,
Brooklyn.
I can't get into any further descriptions because
I
I
got
might
that.
get
I got the
canceled.
line. I got the line, and obviously my
Yes,
lovely friend
yes.
Anastasia Rosenia is here, who thinks all of you guys are sexy. She's just kidding on my end.
That's all I
Our
can
lawyer
say.
just
So
texted us
I'm
straight
sorry
one. You got to keep a
for
little bit
bringing
quiet.
out that other side of me.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate that. I got the memo. Dario Divine, I want to give you the opportunity before we sign off. Do you have any final words for not only Eli Bowman, but if he is eventually around, one Ace Atlas?
Ace Atlas is a guy I call just about as over as the All-American American was. And you know, if he can only wear that American flag suit for his gimmick, then by all means, he's gonna let this country down quicker than Trump did.
Well,
You know what?
and you know what? You might be as let down as what some people feel about the big arch. Everybody's talking about the big arch now.
Oh, that's great. You're
He's-
gonna be
he's
his
one of those
Burger King
guys-
counterpart.
He's one of those guys that just, again, the word legend gets thrown around, but he doesn't know when to call it quits. Like, it's nice to see him back. It's refreshing. It's new talent, but at the same time, we've seen the new talent that have already come in here, and half the roster could wash this guy. And I mean, it's just one of those things where you got to know when to lace up the boots for the last time and just call it quits. When it comes to Eli Bowman, he's a man that, or a kid, I should say, because he's no man. I mean, with braces like that, I worry about getting in the ring with him because I don't want his insurance team coming my way. I mean, anything I do to that kid, his braces are gonna bust, and I'm on the bill for it. But that's rather here nor there. I mean, he's somebody that puts in the hard work, and it makes me kind of respect him in a way. But at the same time, I can't understand why he doesn't understand. Because when the writing's been on the wall for so long, when you've seen me go through a slump, you couldn't tell that it's because the lover boy was filled up with so much hate from the situation he was in that I was thrown off. I hated where I was. I couldn't be the lover boy when I had so much hate in my system. And now that Jerry Mayne is gone and I've left his side and that is up and done, it's time where I can be me again and I can finally dip back into where I once was and scratch and claw my way back to the top and earn every opportunity just like I always have.
Well, we're going to certainly find out, and we will certainly go. And the Dawn of Combat has a call, so I'm going to bring right back Comatose. And Comatose, do you have anything after what you said about Texas Red? But before we sign off, do you want to add anything further?
Well, Mr. Texas Red, you had a good reign. You had a long run. You had a good streak of wins going for you. I mean, I guess if what you want to call dominance is daddy's money, going great for you. If that's what you want to put on your resume as something great, then I mean, all power to you. But unfortunately, daddy's money, his pockets just don't reach deep enough to get to the Blacklist pockets. And after tonight, I'll just be another loss that you've had to suffer. So that's unfortunate for you. But other than Mr. Texas Red, who has been outed as Mr. CEO Rocky's son, I would just like to say good luck to my brother Draquan in our match in IGPW.
same to
One
you,
of
brother.
us,
Same to
rightfully
you.
so, will be the final IGPW mainstay champion. And whether it's me or whether it's you, it's a win for the Blacklist.
That part. That part.
Well, we'll have to find out. Obviously, that may be something we'll talk about in the near and distant future. And I know everyone's getting ready to go to different places. So, AJ Harrison, before you do speak, James
Yeah.
Taylor, speaking of people that I'm going to call
Mr.
legends,
Taylor.
did want to say hello. Thank you. Thank you to James Taylor, who will eventually be back on Sportswire very soon. And thank you, James. We'll figure it out in the next couple weeks. But AJ Harrison, is here in the chat. Do you have anything else you want to add to Elliot Creed?
Elliot Creed You, sir, have no idea. When I told you that I was going to take everything from you, when I told you that I was going to do unspeakable things to you, you don't understand what I mean by that. And I meant literally. You think that what I dropped last night was personal? You think that was just no. I'm willing to go even further. So please understand that this is just the very surface. And I will go as far as I need to. And you are just guilty by association. You're just here because Elias is still missing. And he has a match against Comatose this week. So, but I apologize, Tom. I usually try not to take phone calls. Had to
You're a
play
busy
games.
man, obviously. Listen, we're getting ready toward the end of the show. Don't worry, we're getting toward
Real
the
quick
end.
though, I also wanted to say I apologize for getting a little too excited. Dario, first of all, I wanted to ask you how many seconds are in a minute and a half?
That would be 90, my good friend.
Yes. Okay. And then when you break down 90 seconds, what does that look like?
1 minute and half of another minute.
Right. and that would be 30 seconds plus 30 seconds plus 30 seconds, correct?
That would be correct. That would be 3 instances of 30 seconds.
Okay. All right. That was in reference to one Devin Adams whose career was cut short in EPW for that specific reason.
For mathematical reasons. Yeah.
Yes. This is why kids join the DARE program. Okay.
I haven't heard that one in a while. I have not heard that one in a while, but now I just did.
I don't know if it's still around, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
stand
I haven't
for
heard
again?
that in a long time, the DARE program. Yeah,
I think it stands for drugs are really exciting. I don't.
Okay, well, so I mean, if
Something like that.
Well, anyways, by all means, stay tuned for what's to come because the Blacklist is just getting started. And for anybody who gets in our way, you're going to find out just like Elliot Creed, just like Elias, just like anybody else. We have very deep pockets and we have the means. And Elliot Creed, by the way, buddy, you might want to boost your security system because, I mean, for the love of God, like that was very easy. Don't waste your money though, because again, it's not going to help. It's just be a waste of money. We're going to get in regardless.
The fact of the matter is, once you get finished with Elliot Creed, he's not done with the Blacklist because Comatose and I get to defend our TPW Tag Team Championships against him and a one Maxwell Mangione, who we also have history with. And I mean, if you look at history, for those two men, they haven't really been on the right side of it when they come up against Comatose and I.
No, and I think, Tom, here's what I think everybody's going to learn very quickly. Once you end up on the Blacklist, you never come off the Blacklist. We are never done unless we decide that we are done. Your name is written.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, what I learned is that it's, like I said, out with the old, in with the new. But I also learned that you don't want to be on that blacklist if you're here currently. And right now, names that seem to be popping up on that blacklist are ones, Ace Atlas, if you've seen him, Eli Bowman, who's been vocal here tonight at times and has been vocal in the past here at one Dario Divine. And certainly Elliot Creed, who again has said this is personal, and yeah, I'll bring him up. I haven't forgot about that name, but according to these guys, and if AJ Harrison gets his way in a month, Devin Adams will be joining the likes of AJ Storm and Jerry Mayne. But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, the Blacklist is only just getting started, and they've already got a list of names, and they're going to be adding to that list. And it's certainly going to be, if you don't watch your step, you will be joining the out with the old crowd. So you better get in with the Blacklist crowd and check them out on their social medias, YouTube, Instagram. Follow them from the companies they represent, like EPW, TPW, LWE, and what's left of IGPW for now. And I'm sure we'll talk about that here in the near and distant future. And before we sign off, they are in this Hall of Fame, and they're only just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. But fellas, I know that you guys have a lot to attend to here coming up. Results, promos due, whatever else you're waiting for your opponent. So I won't keep you any further. I thank you very much for your time. I am looking forward to seeing you guys on here in the near and distant future. And who knows, maybe Elliot Creed could be coming soon to a screen near you in the chairs that you sit in, and maybe he'll have his day, because the old expression is every dog has its day. We will see if Elliot Creed has his day here on Sportswire Radio. But until then, fellas, congratulations. Thank you so much. I wish you guys a lot of luck with results coming up, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about here in the next few weeks. And thank you for being with us here tonight. All right, that's the Blacklist. That is Dario Divine. He's one half of the TPW Tag Team Champions alongside Comatose, who also sits at the top of the throne here in TPW. Got the Don of Combat himself, AJ Harrison, who, oh, by the way, just said to the world he's announcing that he's coming to WTW to wrestle Devin Adams, and he'll put him down. And again, sometimes dogs, Old Yeller gets put out to pasture. AJ Harrison says he's going to do that in a month. He's going to Delaware to do that. And there's the TPW Intercontinental Champion, the King of Smoke, Draquan, who's already said he's done that with Durag Ron. So, boy, another guy to the out with the old. And, we didn't even bring up the fact that Texas Red and Rocky, DNA test. Yeah, crazy times. That's why you want to follow these guys on their social medias. We'll definitely be back here Tuesday with Harley Langley of the USWA. But until then, yes, thank you, Zilla. Congratulations to them. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow AJ Harrison on YouTube. Check out EPW, IGPW, TPW, LWE. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station, that is Sportswire Radio, where all music and all wrestling matters. Go get your results. Go do your promos, and we'll see you.